Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is a quick overview on Perfect Freehand. This is a pressure-sensitive freehand drawing library that is open source on GitHub, and we're going to try to do a hands-on experiment where we can actually code a drawing application from scratch. So let's get coding. Okay, so this is Perfect Freehand. You can go to the website where there is an example here where you can move, and I saw the other day you can even zoom in and out and you can move down. So let's say I do here number 1 and number 2 and then number 3, and I keep going. So this would be 6, 5, 4, right? So now we can go and see my fill color can change, stroke, thinning, size. So the thinning is the effect of speed on the thickness. We have smoothing and we have the cap start and cap end, right? So this makes for really nice, so we can remove smooth. So this is Perfect Freehand in a nutshell. So this is what it allows us to do. We can copy the SVG and then we have the SVG file, and there are many things that we can do. Probably they have this menu here and the GitHub repo. So I just put here a logo. So this would be Nono Live. So this is a tool that is, I don't know, I like it because it's super smooth and it doesn't seem to be consuming a lot of resources. So this is here, it's on a canvas. We can zoom in, we can draw, we can go out. It's actually an endless canvas. I don't know if it has limits, but it looks like this is indeed an endless canvas. So how do we use it? So we're going to take a look at GitHub to see how to consume it. Perfect. Try out a demo, we already did that, and here using this library, not a commercial product, at least now. So it's an npm package, so we just do npm install perfect freehand. This package exports a function named getStroke that accepts an array of points, and an optional options object returns a stroke outline as an array of points formatted as X and Y. Import getStroke, perfect hand, getStroke. Alright, so we can pass from here an array, or we can pass an array of objects which have X, Y, and pressure. That's what we saw that might affect. And the options object is optional, as are each of its properties. So except for X and Y, we can pass these properties: tapering options for the start line, getStroke, my points, and the options. Okay, so the options come here, so they will come after the getStroke object. GetStroke returns an array of points representing the outline of the stroke. It's up to you to decide how you will render these points. The function below will turn the points returned by getStroke into SVG path data. To render a stroke as a flattened polygon, add the polygon clipping package and use the following function together with the getSVG path from stroke. Polygon clipping, sample, edit, uncode sandbox. Alright, so we're gonna take a look here at this example. So let's go to the desktop and remove 41. We're gonna make a new one and it's gonna be called 41. Alright, so yes. Alright, so CD41, yarn, start. Let's make sure that React is properly working, which seems like it is. Okay, so here I'm gonna try fast. Let's put the font size slightly bigger so you guys can see the source code. Yep, right. And we can close this now. Alright, so we can do yarn start here in our terminal here in the bottom. And what this is doing is starting our application. So the application will go created automatically, and this is what we can see here. We can make this slightly smaller so we get a proper console there. And quickly we can make changes to the app. So we can hide the terminal now. We have our index.tsx file here, which defines what we're seeing on the application. So we are simply rendering the application, and our app component is here. So we can do here, remove this, and we can put here ma live 41. Yes, and that's it. And we have here the CSS that makes this thing rotate, right? Okay, so we have the React application working. We can remove a lot of stuff, but for now we're just gonna take out this image here. So I'm gonna open the terminal once again, and I'm gonna open another terminal here, CSH, and I'm gonna do once again the save install perfect freehand, and we're gonna start adding to our React application. Well, I don't think it matters, but I am gonna do yarn install perfect freehand because that's what's being used here. Yarn add perfect freehand. And now we can actually go to the perfect freehand repo on GitHub and take a look at the command. So how to add this to our application. So we've seen here, we just need to do import getStroke from perfect freehand and we get the autocomplete, right? So we could directly use here getStroke. So we get a stroke here if we input a set of numbers. So we can do 0 to 1, 3, 3, 3, 0, 0, 3. That's our stroke, and I'm just gonna log the stroke and also gonna log the getStroke function. All right, so we have here our stroke. Okay, so it's logging just here, this one. So this is our stroke. I assume if I change this, it changes. All right, this is just the coordinates of a stroke that we've done with this X and Y's. Supports a function named getStroke that accepts an array of points and an optional options object. Returns a stroke outline as an array of points formatted as X and Y. All right, so this is the outline of our stroke that we've supposedly done here, but now we need to actually make a drawing canvas. So let's follow this tutorial that I wanted to say. The library can use real pressure to adjust the width of the line, or it can simulate pressure too. There are plenty of ways to customize how a line looks and feels. The library is free to use. So let's get started. So to begin, let's take a look at our starter project. If you'd like to follow along, you can find a link to the project in the video description. In our HTML, we have an SVG element with some inline styles that make it take up the whole window. So ID is SVG. All right, so we'll put this on our HTML. So this is here, header, put this here and style this. I'm making this an object. So in this case, it's a TypeScript object or JavaScript object. Putting a background color so we can see the item in case that it shows up, and it actually gets all of the screen. So I guess if we move this below, maybe everything shows up on top. Not really. Okay, position is fixed. All right, I guess we can remove everything else from here. We don't really care that much, or we could even remove everything here. Yeah, for now, I guess we can simply keep this item. Okay, and let's see what else. So we also have a JSON file that contains an array of points, X and Y positions. We would record from a user drawing with their mouse or trackpad. Okay, get that JSON done in our JavaScript. We're importing those points and using them to create a string of SVG path data. Next, we're creating an SVG path element and improvements. Okay. We start by installing the Perfect Freehand dependency, which we've done so we can follow from here. And we create a stroke by passing the points, right? So this is what we're already doing. So we can say that we've done that step. And also base our path data off of this stroke instead. We'll look at that. Our line has changed from a line to a polygon. Okay, so we can do this and we can have our data. Let's get going with this. So we have the setup done. We have a few points. We have our getStroke here. So I'm using them to create an SVG. Okay, so imagine that we do path data, right? So we do data here. So the document is assuming that we have like an HTML file. And it's using JavaScript to construct a DOM element and then append it into the file and putting it there. But on React, we can directly do these things here on the DOM object that we're returning. So we don't need to create an element and append the path and do these things manually. We're going to remove all of these things here. We don't even need to create the path. We can pass the path data there, and right now we don't need the stroke data. And let's see, we might still get an error there. Do you mean stroke width? Yeah, so in React, instead of putting these dashes, right, like for example in CSS, background color and things like that, you would do background color. And I think that's camel case. And that's how you do stroke width. And that's the error we're getting right now. And the path attribute, it is not liking it. I'm unsure why, but let's take a look. And one thing, as you can see here, this is like a bundle as we were seeing before on the freehand application. So our path is there. You don't see it, but it's there. So we can now maybe put like another path that makes a bit more sense, like 100, maybe, I don't know, 300 and 150, 150, 100, and then 100, 300. Let's see what I've done. Okay, and then maybe go back to the beginning. Okay, so we got that path there. So that seems like our RPG drawing here is working, and we're gonna continue with the guide. If we want to improve this, we would normally do something like this. First, we'd simplify the points. So we can simplify the points. A low pass, we could apply a low pass to the points, and finally, instead of creating a path data connects each point by line, we create path data connects each point by a curve. Now that's much better than what we had before. Still not quite perfect. For one, this kind of simplifying curve approach can only be applied after a line is completed. Let's add Perfect Freehand and see what we can do. So we'll start with creating our stroke. So we do our stroke here. We get the strokes, so we have the points, and we define now first and rest. So this is first, and this is the rest. Then Z here. Then let's get rid of our stroke and give the line a fill instead. So we don't stroke and black. Let's actually move this by 300, 500. Okay, now that we have the stroke turned off, our line is looking a little thin. To increase this option objects, so we are gonna pass size 16. So we're gonna pass like an options object here. It's gonna be like size 16, and nice. So now we can increase the thickness of our path. Great, that looks better. So you have thinning, you have, all right, let's try thinning 0 just to make sure it doesn't. It's doing something weird here. It's flipping instead of doing erase. I don't really know why that happens. Maybe this is not thought to have such separate points. So let's try to get an array of points. So let's copy these points. We're gonna close this. So this is our new points array. Okay, and we can set our stroke to 3. So thinning, streamline, smoothing 1, streamline 0.5. Nice. So we don't have a drawing app, but we have an app that can beautifully show what we are, a set of points. So get stroke outline points. All right, so I'm trying here. Let's see what this gives us. So if this on the stroke, we get a set of numbers, points. The type number is missing the following properties. Stroke point. We don't really need these ones. Get stroke outline points. So what we know is that we can render this shape. To use this function, first use Perfect Freehand to turn your input points to a stroke line, and that's it. And then path data. If you're rendering with HTML canvas, you can pass the result to that path to the constructor. Flattening. To render a stroke as a flattened polygon, add the polygon clipping package. See example project in this repository. Example. Alright, so this seems to be a drawing application that we can use. So we have a set of functions here. So we're going to do React use state, and we're going to get these two helper functions to handle page down. So here we have a pointer down, handle pointer down, pointer up, handle pointer up. Okay, so here I'm adding this type of the state. So an interface that tells that this is going to be points, state properties. So set points, and we have the points. Okay, something's showing up there, you can see. And now we're going to do the same for handle. All right, let's stop logging here. Well, okay, we got something. Seems something is working. It hasn't been easy. Cool. All right, we got a drawing app, and All right, it worked. So we have our first drawing application that uses the minimal code that we can with Perfect Freehand. Liking this video helps support the work that I'm doing here and also encourages me to do more of this. And if you subscribe, you'll get notifications when I go live next or when I upload new videos. And yeah, thanks a lot for your time and for watching, and I'll see you next week.